welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Heritage Hill coming to you on 3149 Sweet Road in Pompey. That is the brew house. And I was out there over this past weekend. Fantastic brunch, awesome sights. What other place can you go where it's truly an experience like that with that type of view? The Heritage Hill family is strong. Dan Palladino and his team do an incredible job. And you got to come out and see the sights because the brew house is there. And many of you have been to the brew house, but there's other locations within that. You could go and sit outside, and even if the weather's bad, you can kind of enjoy the whole experience. And then they have another area that you can rent out for space, whether you have an anniversary or a graduation or a wedding or something going on. And the view is just absolutely spectacular. So head out to Heritage Hill Brewhouse today. And, of course, go to their newest location, Heritage Hill North, the exclusive home of our CNS North Stars broadcasts with the high school student athletes, coaches, and administration, which is on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corner. So with that being said, inside of MomandPopsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' on today's broadcast, we have an all-new Bobcat Buzz in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Bryant Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. And their head coach on the men's basketball side, Clay Gagen-Sherman, joining me picture-in-picture momentarily to have our continued conversation on his program, recruiting, scheduling, and what's to come in 2024-25. And then it is Thursday, which means Papa Joe has his place, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. PJ will be coming on the show to talk with us about the 2024 Major League Baseball Draft, the All-Star Game, as well as a look to the second half of the season as we're officially heading into the second half of the 2024 Major League Baseball season. We'll also get into Saratoga Horse Racing. So, with all of that being said, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you back to the Bobcat Buzz. And Clay Gagen-Sherman here, picture-in-picture with me. Clay, how we doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing good. You know, I think that the easiest way to kind of explain my feeling this morning and my emotion this morning is, you know, I'm a sign of my cosa. but I'm happy to be here. Happy to be hanging out. It's summertime, and you know, obviously, like summer league is going on, so we're getting some basketball and we're getting to see a bunch of things out there. Do you pay attention to that? Are you like a summer league junkie? Are you watching what's going on in the NBA, or where are you at with that stuff?
I've been watching it a little bit. I want to say I'm a junkie, but you know, obviously, you know, Bronny James playing right now is bringing a lot of attention to the summer league. But I've been watching the other teams, watching some of the other rookies, some of the other second-year guys. There's a lot of talented prospects that are really fun to watch. I love Amani Bates from the Cavaliers. Definitely rooting for him. I hope he gets a legitimate shot to get some minutes this year. But yeah, we're starting to get some basketball. And then obviously the Olympics are on the way. So tuned in to see, you know, watching mostly the highlights from the Team USA games, and really excited for the Olympics as well.
Yeah, you know, and this being an Olympic season, there's the conversation that this is the best team since the Dream Team back in the day with Jordan and Malone and Mullen and Bird and so on and so Magic Johnson. So do you believe that? Do you buy into that the roster that the United States has put together, arguably this season, could be Dream Team 2.0, as some people are calling it?
I think it's definitely up there for sure. I mean, it's like if you look at from the first exhibition, like the starting lineup, I think was Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, and Embiid. And then the second lineup was Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis. Like it was just, I mean, the fact that the second lineup, and then Jason Tatum was the fifth in that second lineup. The fact that the second lineup is debatably better than a lineup with LeBron James and Steph Curry and Joel Embiid is insane. So, yeah, I think it's definitely up there, but they got to take care of business. Obviously, the rest of the world is extremely strong now as well. So, they got to handle business in the Olympics and kind of just dominate as they should. But I think they're going to have a lot more, challenge in the Olympics now since the world's so strong as well.
Yeah, and we look at the fact that, whether it's D1, D2, D3, JUCO, USCAA, and in the case of Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, USCAA for small colleges. And when you're talented, kind of say to yourself, like, hey, talent is talent, and there's opportunities overseas for these guys and these girls that are playing the game. Does that kind of live in the back of your mind of, hey, if I got a guy on my team this season or within these next couple of years that really can do something special to look at that overseas world, because it seems that overseas is a place to go of people who can have an incredibly long career, an illustrious career that maybe didn't get the hype that they got going through their college time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have a lot of guys with aspirations to play professionally. And coming from a small college to make it to the NBA is, a ginormous, jump. But there's certainly a lot of opportunities overseas, and we believe we have the talent level to help some guys get over there. So, just learning about those leagues, and again, it's a rookie contract. Usually, you're not going to make a ton of money, but it's an opportunity to get exposure, to see the world a little bit, to conduct yourself as a professional, to be in a professional environment. And again, just kind of build that resume. But we definitely have guys that I think can play overseas, that would like to play overseas, and it's a huge goal of ours as a program to help those guys get those opportunities to continue to play professionally. And like I said, see the world, get experience, and hopefully, they start to perform at a high level over there where they do get bigger contracts and can make some actual money.
Yeah, I think there's something about, I mean, obviously growing up, everybody's talking NBA, but as I've gone through my life and I've gotten to know people in this sports world, of course, hearing about all these overseas stories is really incredible. And, it's really awesome to see the things that can happen and the opportunities that kind of come from that some of these guys get into coaching and so on and so forth. So, it's just something in the back of my mind, because Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, I know you got talent, and leading right into that, recruiting wise, I got to meet one of the guys that you had brought on a visit, and he ended up committing and making it clear that he's coming to Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. So when you look at that and you look at what you're bringing in, who you're bringing back, what this team's going to look like in this upcoming season, what can you tell us about the recruits and the yeses that you've gotten, and just what this is starting to look like for what we have in this campaign for 24-25?
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of new faces this upcoming season. We're returning 6 guys. We're probably bringing in 10 to 12.
Yeah.
We have 10 guys committed at the moment. Out of those 10 guys, I think 8 are JUCO transfers. So, we have a massive amount of guys that have played at the collegiate level already, that have experience under their belt, have been part of winning programs. And again, we're trying to build championship culture in our program. We've done a great job the last few years establishing a winning culture, but we're looking to make that next jump and take it to another level. And bringing in guys with that experience is going to be really important for us. But like I said, a lot of new faces, a lot of guys with college experience, guys that are going to help us win right away, and a few freshmen that are extremely talented and are going to have an opportunity to be impact guys as well. So, looking for, like I said, a lot of new faces, a lot of new players, a very competitive environment. Some guys that have been around for a bit, a couple of guys that have been to multiple national tournaments that have kind of laid the groundwork for what we're trying to do. And we're expecting those guys to lead the way, and the new guys coming in to bring that competition element to push everyone to be their absolute best.
It's interesting, the makeup of your team this year, because obviously we're not talking about the transfer portal, right, when it comes to the NCAA. but it feels
Right.
very much like that. Like you said, we got 6 returners, but we got like 10 guys that are new coming into the program. So it very much mirrors what's going on in the NCAA. Why do you think that this was the right thing to do, to have more new faces than returning faces? Why is this makeup something that you think is going to be better? Because that has been the challenge in the NCAA. But for you putting this roster together, it seems like you have the people that you've had some success with, but that there is more of a focus on let's build this culture through what we're bringing in too, and let's advance ourselves in that respect. So you've leaned heavily on JUCO, like you said, and bringing in some freshmen. Why did you do the roster the way that you did it, and what can we get from the fact that you leaned more on new faces?
Yeah, I would say, like I said, the last few years we've won at a high level, but we haven't got over that hump in nationals. And we have a senior class, a rising senior class this upcoming year that have been to a couple guys have been to 2 national tournaments. Moses Hughes has been to 3 national tournaments. And that senior class is strong. The returning group we're bringing back is strong, and they've won. And, they have the experience.
Yeah.
And we just needed more firepower that in their first year with us are going to help us get over that hump, and more depth. And I think bringing in junior college players that, again, we have a region player of the year coming in. We have an all-region second team player. We have a few guys that have been to national tournaments at the junior college level. We're bringing in winners that have done it at the college level.
Yeah.
So really, we just need to bring in guys that are ready to impact winning right away, and in the same breath have the experience of playing in March, because we want to play in March. We want to win in March. This is a senior class that has done this. They've made it there, and for me, I'm trying to make this the best season that we've ever had, because my senior class, they deserve it. They put in the work.
Yeah.
And we just want to position them with student athletes that are on the same page and can help us win when we're at nationals.
Yeah, and this has been for Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's basketball. Danny Frisina helped to lead the team into the national tournament in the USCAA. You helped to advance the team to winning their first game in the nationals in the consolation bracket, but program has yet to win within nationals within the regular bracket to move forward toward a national championship. How I know that there's a lot of new faces, things have to gel, you got to get into practice and see what this looks like. But of what you're bringing in, of the guys that you have returning and the guys that you have that are new here, what makes you believe that this is the right thing? If you can dig a little bit deeper into what wasn't there in the years of going to the national tournament, winning in a consolation game but not winning in a game in the bracket to go toward a championship, what were you looking for in recruiting, and do you think you found it? So give me those pieces that you think are going to be able to get you to that step farther.
Yeah, I think we have more depth in versatile players. We have a really good group of wings coming in, forwards that can guard multiple positions, that are extremely athletic.
Yeah.
And in the past, last year we had a couple tough injuries, but we lost. We ended up having to play small, and in nationals, playing small was a real battle to get stops and rebounds. And having several guys that can guard 1 through 4, some guys that can guard 1 through 5, and can rebound with centers is going to be huge. And again, it just comes back to having more guys that can help us get stops and rebounds. And I really think with the group we're bringing in, we have a lot of versatility, which is going to give us options on what to do defensively. I think we're going to be a really fast and athletic team that is also strong and can run the floor. Just falls back to depth and kind of a larger pool of guys that can really guard forwards and help rebound the basketball.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, just having that depth, having that wing play, having guys that can rebound and not having to play small, those pieces here that you've been looking for and looking at because you've experienced nationals, you know what it's like. The level of competition in the USCAA national tournament. People know about the NCAA, they know about March Madness, but in the USCAA, you have your own form of madness here in this national tournament that is really exciting and brings things together. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you can say in describing the other colleges that are within the small college atmosphere and just what type of talent that you see, the level of competition that you have nationally.
Yeah, the national tournament's another level for sure. Like we NCAA D2s push into our national tournament. Oh, sorry, I just lost light in my room.
Okay.
But like my first year with the men's team, we made it to nationals, and we got matched up with the eventual national champion, Salem University, which is an NCAA D2 team out of West Virginia, and they had two 6'11" guys. One of them could shoot threes. They had their point guard was a transfer from Howard University. They had a dude that hit 84 threes in the course of the season. He hit 12 threes in a game twice. They had a 6-7 stretch. A legit NCAA D2 team that was very well coached, and we actually only lost by 13. We were down by 1 at halftime, and we should have been up. We fouled the dude throwing up a half court heave at the buzzer. He hit 2 free throws to go up 1 on us. And then they switched to 1-3-1 at halftime with that length up top and kind of obviously it was something they had done. We saw it on film, but it wasn't a lot. And they caught us with it, and we struggled to score. But then they went on the next 2 rounds to win by, I think it was 20 plus each game. So they were just an extremely strong team. But you get teams from the NAIA, from Florida National, Atlantis University. You get teams from all over the country, different levels. This past year, we played Lyon College, which I believe they're NCAA D3 out of Arkansas. And they were an extremely good team with a ton of depth and a lot of talent and experience. But yeah, nationals, like I said, it's another level. You don't know who you're going to play, where they're going to be from, what level it is, but it's going to be competition and a very tough competition that you have to be ready for. And, we've done a good job going down there and holding our own. We've had some tough matchups in the first round the last couple of years. We've won the consolation game, so we know we're not that far from the top. But we definitely have a jump to make, and that's what we're looking to do with our recruiting class, with our returners, and, this offseason into our preseason to prepare for it.
Yeah, and here with Clay Gagen-Sherman in this exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, this edition of the Bobcat Buzz on Wake Up Call inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. When you're describing what the USCAA Nationals could be, and I appreciate the background and the depth of that, because people think, okay, USCAA, small college, you're not playing NCAA, but between you and Tay Baker, the women's basketball coach at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, you have played Division I and Division II NCAA teams within these last couple of years. And he went to UMBC out in Maryland and had that game. So, you can honestly play anybody. You can play anybody in the season. You can play anybody within this national tournament, NCAA D1, D2, D3, NAIA, and USCAA. You don't know what you're going to get. What do you like that model? Do you like the fact that because the USCAA and Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse is so unique, because if you're a little bit older, right? Maybe you're 26, but you have eligibility left. You have an opportunity to still play. There's great opportunities within the college itself. There's 2 campuses, one on James Street in Syracuse, one off of Route 57 across from Avicoli's in Liverpool. There's great job placement and a high percentage of people getting jobs out of Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. And at the same time, there's a unique model of if you didn't use your eligibility and you're maybe a little bit older than the traditional student, you can still have an opportunity to come. So do you like the model scheduling-wise that you can see NCAAs and NAIAs and this, that, and whatever, and those count as real games in the tournament and in the regular season? Do you like that? and then in the same time, the uniqueness of Bryant Stratton College Syracuse. Do you like that you can go out and recruit people that maybe played D1, D2, took a couple of years off, and they still have eligibility?
Yeah, I honestly, I really do like the scheduling. Just for the opportunity to get exposure at different levels to see what those levels are like. Like you said, it makes for a unique, competitive schedule. We travel quite a bit. For our guys to kind of measure up against, all right, we play Cheney College twice every year. That's an NCAA D2. We've done pretty well in the past against them. We play, and then we play NJCAA schools that within the region. We'll play Cayuga every year. It's a great opportunity just to kind of play different levels of competition and kind of measure up against them. And then for the flexibility with recruiting with guys with different situations, I love it because themselves, where all right, this one guy might not have gone back to school and got his degree if he wasn't going to play college basketball. And then, he decides he gets recruited. I see him somewhere. I think he could be a good fit. He comes here, he gets a degree, he gets an experience, and then he goes on and does better with his life. So I absolutely love that element to it. And then I like it from a coaching standpoint, and a competitive standpoint, because I like coaching older players. Like I like, of course, coaching 18-year-olds coming out and helping them kind of navigate their life, but I like coaching older players as well because it's just they're at a different point, and sometimes they just need a little different direction, different perspective, and they bring a lot to the program with their maturity. All right, they're a few years older, they've kind of been there, done that, and they can be great leaders for a team. So I think it's a great opportunity for the student and also for the program.
Yeah, and I appreciate that answer because Bryant Stratton, when it comes to the classroom as well as to the sports world, is very unique, and to me is unique in such a good way. It's a very special part of our community here in Central and Upstate New York, in my opinion, and Lord knows I love that logo. So I gotta get into. So you talked about where recruiting a lot of JUCO guys and bringing them in this season. Where have you gotten people from? When you look at these 10 new faces coming in, where are we talking as far as guys that are transferring and whatnot? Where did you pick from when you were looking at the transfer side of things? I'd love to know that specifically. Where in the country were you looking?
Yeah, it's I usually always hit a showcase in Long Island to kick off my recruiting cycle once the season ends in March with my guy Coach Dre, Shots with Patience, Team Underrated. He does a great showcase in Long Island a little earlier. So I always kick it off there. But really it's about the coaches that I have relationships with, and I know coaches that have players and players that might be good fit for Bryant Stratton. So it's a lot of reaching out to them, connecting with them, see if they have guys that are looking for those second chances, those different opportunities.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of New York State this year. We also got a kid out of Philly, a kid out of Maryland. So I'm trying to think where else. Honestly, like I said, it's a lot of junior colleges. A lot of New York State Region 3 guys, and also is it Region 7? Is that Hostos and Monroe Express, or Region 15? I'm not sure exactly which one it is off the top of my head, but we got two guys coming from Monroe Express. We got a guy coming from Hostos, a couple guys from Mohawk Valley. Like I said, we got a guy come from Philly. He played D1 JUCO in Texas. So a lot of New York State junior college guys, then a few out-of-state guys, and a few New York City and Long Island kids. So it's been a lot of Northeast this year, which is it's nice because they're close enough to home where they can get home. Their family's a little closer to support them and things like that. But it always falls back to just having relationships with other coaches. And they know what the program's about. They know that they're going to be in good hands out here. So a lot of coaches do refer their guys when they think it's a good fit because, again, they know the structure of our college as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned Hostos and Region 15, like you said. So, yeah, so when you said a lot of New York State, there's a bunch of community college, a bunch of that, junior college, NJC, AA. And in New York State, I've gotten to know a bunch of these teams in my coverage in the past of games that have gone on, against OCC and whatnot. So, where in did you go kind of all over New York? Do you look at, I mean, you guys play at Allen Hall on the OCC campus. So is there a
Yep.
connection there too? Because, I mean, I would think that OCC and Bryant and Stratton can have some type of a happy marriage here in the sense of no matter how good they play at OCC, they have 2 years. And when they have those other 2 years to spend, or they leave after a year and have 3 years to spend, that they're right in your backyard. I know you said Hostos and some of these other community colleges, but is there a bond there and a link there beyond playing on their campus? Is there something with OCC of like, hey, these are our guys right in the backyard. They're going to play here for a year or two, and if they want to stay in the community, they could go right to Bryant and Stratton of Syracuse.
Yeah, Coach Joe and I have definitely had those conversations. He's awesome. He's been phenomenal to us. It's just a matter of program and fit. A lot of times with junior college transfers, because we only have two bachelor programs. So this past year, I don't think we had anyone that we were really going after that had the academic program we were looking for. But definitely have had those conversations, and hopeful in the future we can get some guys that come into the program from OCC. And then yeah, it's all over New York State, honestly. Like I go to the Long Island Showcase, I go to EKB in New Jersey. I go to a couple other showcases down in the city, Diamond in the Rough with Coach Ka. Some unsigned senior showcases as well. But a lot of those junior college programs, they're some of the best programs in New York State, and they recruit a lot of the best players from New York State. Monroe Express just had a great year. They won 20 plus games. Hostos made the national tournament. Mohawk Valley, has been phenomenal ever since Coach Fuller took over. Even before that, but they've had like ridiculous seasons where they went like 30-2 when they had Travis Gray and our guy Jordan Drain that's coming in. So those coaches have done an amazing job recruiting to their junior colleges, and I'm fortunate enough to have good relationships with them that they trust their guys coming out to Syracuse to play for us. But like I said, a lot of New York State, a lot of Northeast. But it's especially Coach Tay. It's running around New York State, going to every basketball opportunity you can to get our name out there, to develop those relationships. And then, after the first couple years of doing it, you get a little better at it, and the coaches start to be more familiar with you and start to be like, all right, this guy's gonna be around a little bit. Let's listen to him a little bit more, and let's check that program out to see how it did the last couple years. And once you have those relationships, it's a phone call away. Like, hey, coach, I said I did great this season. Do you have any guys that might be interested in coming out to Bryant Stratton? And a lot of times it's no, but a lot of times it's, hey, I got one or two guys, and then they start to think, they're like, hey, this guy from 2 years ago didn't go anywhere. What's he up to now? So it always falls back to those relationships.
Yeah, and you and I know this. It's all about relationships, and it's how you and I got connected. It's how I got connected to Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse on a larger scale. It all begins with relationships. It continues with relationships. Where would you say those relationships are at for you? You started the women's basketball program as their first ever head coach at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. And after spending years there and helping that team get on the national scene in the USCAA national tournament, you shifted over to men's basketball. You spent a lot of time at Bryant Stratton. You nationally are a coach that is in a very tiny percentage, which is a coach to start a program. Number one, you don't see that every day in the here and now. So within the past few years, you started the women's basketball program, and you're a coach that's coached both the men's and women's basketball team at the same school, which is an extreme rarity. In the time that you've been around and building those relationships, do you believe at this point that you have certain bridges in certain places that are very strong? Like if we look at your recruiting map, what would you say are the strongest avenues for you, or the regions that you're looking at after building relationships for so many years?
Yeah, I would say New York City for sure. Um, when I took over the women's program, I was down there starting a team like you mentioned, and obviously I actually started in March to recruit for the fall. We brought in 15 young ladies to compete for us that year, so I was very busy. So down in New York City, I'd go down for a week, go all over the place, ton of showcases, cold calls at schools, going to 4 schools a day, 5 days a week, and then I come home for a week, and then I go back down there for a week, and I did that for 5 weeks, where I was like literally down there for 5 weeks from March to June or whatever it was. Um, so through that process, I met a ton of people. I met a ton of coaches that I stayed in touch with, and even when I've been on the men's side, I've been connecting Coach Tay to a lot of those coaches. New York City, I spent a lot of time down there hustling around, and I think the coaches that tuned into our program realized that we were legit, and students came and had good experiences. They got degrees, and they played at a high level. Some went on to different schools and did well. So we gained their trust and built that reputation as a program and for myself as a coach. I think in Central New York is another, definitely, obviously we're located in Syracuse. I think I've gotten my name out there. I got the program's name out there. I think we've really built that reputation as a college through our athletics program. Especially on the basketball side, since, Danny started it, where, nobody knew Bryant Stratton had sports, and then people started to realize, oh, they have a men's basketball program, and then they started to realize, wow, the program's getting stronger and stronger, and now they're going to nationals. Our students have memberships to the YMCA downtown, where we work out as a team, and we kind of, guys go there to get reps on their own, and they go to open runs and everything, and it's kind of like one of those things where like they're part of the YMCA community. So if you go there on a Tuesday morning, right, at 6 a.m., there's 40 guys playing, just open runs. 40 guys, in season. Sometimes guys go down there a little bit to get reps, gain their confidence, build it up a little bit. Some guys that might not be getting a lot of burn, but they become part of that community. Like our whole team becomes part of the YMCA community, and kind of in return, those guys start to buy into Bryant and Stratton and like support our program, and like, I'll go down there and everyone a lot of guys come up, hey coach, how's it going, how's the season, and stuff like that. So it's just very, very interesting that like, we're part of the community now, and just like the YMCA is an example of that. And I'll go to like the Salt City Pro-Am that used to be the Elite Basketball League that Mike Sugamosto has ran the last, I think, like 14 years, and has done a great job. And the program's kind of taken over the city in the summer for basketball in Syracuse. And like I'll go out there, wear my Bobcat shirt, and have a ton of people coming up asking about the team, and we're on the map now, which is huge. And I think the reputation in Central New York for our program, for our student athletes, and for myself as a coach has really developed and strengthened through the success that the program and the students and the talent level that we bring in has. And then, so obviously Syracuse School, New York State, I think I have strong ties to New York State. I have some connections in Philly that, very strong with, that send guys out here. And then we have some international connections as well that we're really developing. And, as a school, like, our soccer teams are very international.
Yeah.
And we have some connections overseas that, we're building really strong relationships with as well on the basketball side.
Yeah. I think it's incredible. And when you were saying all of that, I was thinking to myself, do you in your mind, in kind of building up Central and Upstate New York and Section 3 ball and whatnot, do you think about having your own showcases? Do you think about doing something over the summer where, you can bring guys in, or even before that, to, kind of just get a look at some of the talent in the area? I know you talked about Mike Sugamosto and what he does with the Salt City Pro-Am, and there could be some guys there that have more eligibility left. I mean, you never know what you're going to find there. So, do you think the
There are for
Salt
sure.
City? Yeah. So, I mean, do you think the Salt City is an avenue? And then, secondly, have you thought about doing your own, clinic or, I know coaches in the community in Central and Upstate New York over the summer get people into their gyms and get an opportunity to kind of just see the talent in the area. Have you thought about doing that so that you could bring people to you essentially and get to watch what Liverpool has, West Jenny, CNS, Beeville, CBA, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the docket. Like it's why like it just there's only benefits to doing things like that, and it could be really valuable to us. To for student athletes that are coming up to put us on their radar a little bit. They get a feel for us as coaches and for us obviously to evaluate them. So it's definitely something that we've thought about, and I think probably not this summer, but something that in the upcoming years we're definitely going to start doing a little bit. And Salt City Pro, like you said, is definitely there's a guy that we're trying to get. We just got to figure some things out to get him here, but there's a ton of talent in that. And also shout out to Mike Sugumosto. He's actually just took over Corning men's basketball. So
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for Mike and everything he's doing. And, you see the type of talent he's bringing in. And, he's a guy that's getting a lot of Central New York kids that are very good high school players. So shout out to him and good luck to him this upcoming season.
Yeah, absolutely. That coming from Clay Gagen-Sherman in this edition of the Bobcat Buzz, Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership centering today on the men's basketball team as we get set for the 2024-25 season. Before we jump into rapid fire, scheduling-wise, what can we expect? Is the schedule done? Are we adding anybody new? I know there's the usual suspects. You talked about Cheney and Mohawk and whatnot, but what can we expect for the 2024-25 scheduling?
Yes, sir. So it's almost complete. Just looking to lock in like the last 3 or 4 dates with Cheney and Berkeley. But a lot of similar schools, and we'll have a conversation once we hop off, Dan, or once you're free later to kind of go over a couple things, a couple big updates that are coming out that we definitely need to speak about. But a lot of the, obviously the Bryant and Stratton schools, we're going to be playing them all twice. Villa Maria so Villa Maria, Five Towns, and Berkeley are all joining the USCA Division One. So we're going to play all those teams twice this year as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll play Keuka College this year, which I'm looking forward to that game. NCAA Division III. We'll play. I'm trying to think. We play Fisher twice and NAIA school twice. We will play Cayuga Community College. We'll play Penn State Scranton. We will be going to a tournament there in the second week of November, so kind of a tip-off tournament. Really looking forward to that. They'll also come to us in December for a home game. So again, a wide variety of levels. A pretty jam-packed schedule this year. Really looking forward to it. And then, like I said, we're gonna touch base off air and have a big update coming out.
Okay. It sounds like good news, and your face is so serious. It's like, I got something to talk to you about off the air, just so you know. So, like, all right, listen, I'm excited. Obviously, we'll have a call off the air here and hear what this update's going to be. But let's jump into rapid fire. You get the first question. What do you got for me?
Yeah. Best slice of pizza in Syracuse. Where are you going?
I don't like that you try to get me in trouble every time. So I'm going to say...
You could go to a couple spots.
Yeah, I mean, I have
suggestions.
I have my pizza in different places. So at Avicoli's, I have my barbecue chicken pizza, and I'm a Grandma's Pie Sicilian slice with a mozzarella dollop on top of the sauce and the other cheese, and the texture of it is what really makes it. At the Wildcat, shout out to my buddy Isaac Elford, who does some work with me here on the show in Tortora and Elford. Him and I go out to the Wildcat out in Camillus. We always split a pepperoni and sausage pizza. So good. So shout out to the Wildcat for that. When I'm at Pizza Man, it is all day, every day, sweet heat. The arugula meatball pepperoni with Mike's Hot Honey. Shout out to Pizza Man, who met the owner of Mike's Hot Honey years ago, believed in the product, put it out there, put it on their pizza, and have been utilizing it for years. And within the last year or so, couple of years, people have been using Mike's Hot Honey. You see it everywhere now, but Pizza Man was using it back in the day. And as I'm not a fan of the plagiarism that happens with my work, I want to give a shout out to Pizza Man that a lot of people have plagiarized the way that they've been hitting with the hot honey. So I want to give them credit for believing in it way back when people weren't doing it. Pizza Man was definitely being unique. So I love that pizza there. And I'm trying to think. I would say those are probably my my slices of choice. There's some other good stuff out there for sure. I'm a wing guy too, so the lemon peppers, I say this all the time, and for those of you that know basketball and know hip hop, you know what I say when I say this, but my lemon peppers at Pizza Man are better than Lou Will's at Magic City down in Atlanta. That's what I'll say. So my question back to you, Mr. Sherman, here is, if you were taking me out to dinner as a thank you, where would you take me? Like, money's not an object. Where in central and upstate New York, if we were doing a celebratory dinner, where are you taking me?
Wow. I'm always a big possibility guy.
Okay.
I love possibilities. If we could skip the wait, that's even better. But a huge fan of the tomato oil sauce, or whatever you want to call it, the spicy sauce, and the bread, of course. And, if you're going to celebrate something, I always like doing something Italian. And possibilities can't get much more Syracuse than possibilities. So I think that would be the go-to.
All right. I like that. I could roll with that. Lasca's also has that like spicy red sauce with the bread too. So you got to try that in Auburn. What's your second one for me?
I know we talked a little bit before about the summer league, but do you have any prospects that are coming out that you like? Any guys that you're looking forward to watching this upcoming year?
Yeah. It's funny how God works in my life, and you and I talk about this all the time. And it's, I've been a Toronto Raptor fan since they started playing. Their logo came out in 1994. They started playing in 95, 96. Damon Stoudemire, still my favorite player to this day. Right off camera, you can actually see you can see the needle here in Toronto, and you can see the Damon Stoudemire picture that I have here. So, big fan of Mighty Mouse, and got to interview him this past year, which was absolutely crazy. I waited almost 30 years of my life to do that, and I got a bunch of hugs from him and shaking hands and doing stuff together. We did a bunch of different broadcast things, so that was cool, and I thank God for that. It was right around my birthday, too. So, shout out to Damon Stoudemire. But, yeah, I mean, watching the Raptors and being a Raptor fan, again, the way that God works and the irony and the God incidences, Joe Girard ends up on the Raptors, and he's wearing my number 21. Quincy Guerrier ends up on the Raptors, and Drew Timme, I love Gonzaga, he ends up on the Raptors. So I'm very much paying attention to their summer league. I've been recording all the games, and in the hustle and bustle in life, I haven't sat down, but they're all being recorded. And so I'm going to go back and watch Toronto's games here and see how my Cuse guys are doing, see how my Zags are doing. But yeah, I'm definitely, I want to see Drew Timme make it somewhere. I want to see Joe Girard get an opportunity. Quincy Guerrier, he played in a bunch of different places in college, and I'd love to see him get it. But it's just funny how I look at Toronto's roster and I'm like, I covered that guy, I know that guy, I'm friends with that guy. So it's just funny how they ended up on my team. But I'm definitely watching Toronto, as always. And wish that there was an Orlando Pro Summer League, because I used to go there every year. So I missed that terribly, and would love for Orlando to bring it back. So Magic, I know you're going through someone who's passed away within your organization. My prayers and well wishes to all of you that know him and are involved, and God bless to you all truly, and God bless them in heaven, and bring back Summer League, because you guys did a tremendous job with it, and it's a great facility. My question back to you is, if you could have dinner with any three NBA players right now, who would you eat with and why?
I mean, you got to say LeBron. Got to say LeBron.
Okay.
Just, I mean, he's first of all, he's hysterical. He's a funny guy. Like they always say, he's always joking and everything. He'd just be a good time. He'd definitely bring the wine for sure. And then obviously the stories and just the wisdom. You got to bring LeBron. I think, man, who else? I honestly, Anthony Edwards too. I feel like
Okay.
he's just so funny. You'd have a great time with him. Obviously, ton of energy. Definitely wouldn't be a dull moment with that dude. And then, just trying to think of like personality wise, who would I want to eat with? I don't know. Draymond's like what, like a definite. You'd want him there. You definitely wouldn't want him there. Like
Yeah.
he'd either annoy you or he'd be hysterical as well. But I think LeBron, Anthony Edwards for sure, and then honestly Klay Thompson, because I feel like Klay Thompson would add like kind of like the chill vibe, like bring a little bit of a chill vibe to it, and also kind of be, he'd probably have like good one-liners and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm a big Klay Thompson fan, and would be curious to pick his brain on this upcoming season and see where he's at with, the big change he's about to go through.
Yeah.
Definitely a Klay Thompson guy, and he's probably, he seems like a cool dude. So
I like that. I can appreciate that. I was going through stuff, and I'm notorious for having sports cards and not knowing what I have. I have found over the last couple of years two Pat Mahomes rookie cards. One went to PSA, got graded a 10 out of 10 gem mint. I sold it. I sold my raw card that I had of his as well. That wasn't in as good of shape, but was still not bad. And then I found a LeBron rookie card within the past couple months, and I just got this back from PSA. I have a Steph Curry that I pulled from a pack of cards. I have a Steph Curry graded PSA rookie card of Mr. Curry, the multi-time champion, now in my studio. What is your last? What'd you say?
I said that's a nice card.
And it's the old Warrior thing where like they had the crazy electricity looking stuff, which I like that logo. What's your last question for me?
We'll keep it basketball. So JJ Redick was my absolute favorite college basketball player of all time.
Okay.
Growing up, like I told you, I was a Duke / Syracuse fan. I literally
they don't exist. It's not real.
I know, but I was a kid. My mom liked Duke, my dad liked Syracuse, and then Duke won more, and and then obviously SU had Carmelo come through.
Yeah.
But I literally remember watching Duke games and thinking every single shot JJ Redick took was going in, and if he missed it, I'd be very upset. But obviously, him taking over the Lakers for me is very interesting, and I'm just curious to hear your take on not necessarily expectations for the season, but how I guess kind of expectations how JJ will be as a head coach, because I think the Lakers job, obviously where it's at right now, is a tough challenge for anyone.
Yes.
But how do you think will JJ make it? What do you think of kind of his projection as a head coach in the NBA?
I like the question. I can appreciate it. I hope the best for JJ, and I think because LeBron decided to take an outrageous amount of money, and is he a billionaire already? But to take the money that he took, they couldn't go get anybody else, and they couldn't get DeMar DeRozan. There was other guys out there that they could have made moves for. So they're really riding with the same team, plus, Dalton Connect that they brought in and to hopefully help them hit threes. And, I liked watching him in college, and they brought in Bronny. So do the Lakers really, and Max Christie coming in too. So they don't really have a lot of wiggle room, because LeBron did the opposite of Tom Brady. he took more so for the team to have less. So I think JJ is walking into a situation where they could be a playoff team. I think they'll get in, but I mean, do they have what it takes to beat Dallas on paper? No. Do they have what it takes to beat Boston? No. Do they have what it takes to beat Philly now? I don't think so. So, I think there's other teams that are going to step up and do some things. So I don't really like what he's walking into. And let's be real, JJ Redick's the head coach on paper, but the head coach, general manager, and president of the Los Angeles Lakers is LeBron James. So, I'm happy for JJ, but I think when you're on LeBron's team in the NBA, you're a little bit of a puppet. So I don't like that scenario for any coach. I don't think it's respectful. And I think LeBron needs to take a step back and stop playing GM. They didn't need to draft his son. His son could have gotten picked up 10 seconds after the draft ended. I don't think people were going to fight for Bronny. So, and that's no disrespect to Bronny. It's just, that there's thousands of people all over the world fighting for those spots. And did Bronny need to go over some people on his same team at USC that had better numbers? So I think LeBron, somebody said something and it really stuck with me. They said LeBron James is the worst AAU dad in the NBA right now. And I feel that. So, I mean, what do I think about JJ Redick? I'm hopeful for him. I want him to have an incredible experience, but I think he's on a team where he's not the real head coach.
What does success look like to him, like this year? How would you define this, like, success for him this year?
Telling LeBron that Bronny can't start. What is any coaching experience, which I am not necessarily against, because as people know, I did play basketball and I have coaching experience in summer league stuff, but, coaching younger kids and whatnot. But I very much am interested in being a coach. And even if it's just like a couple weeks summer league camp, something that you and I probably should talk about off the air too. But I do have interest in being a coach. I am getting an itch. And I talked to somebody recently about it out of the basketball world. And they were like, you should. And I just have a passion for the game. I love the game. And when I was cleaning out my garage, I found an unused whistle, which I think is a sign. But I do have fun with officials because I will stand up for my team, but I do it in a funny way. So I think, what does success look like for JJ Redick? I think showing to us his confidence, his courage. I think if he can show us that he is leading the team, and I think if he can have moments where his message gets through. See, this is the thing that people don't maybe fully understand. Maybe some people do. From the outside looking in, being the head coach of a team with LeBron James isn't only difficult because I don't know if LeBron is listening, but when one kid in the classroom doesn't listen, it tells the other kids that they don't have to listen too. So I think if JJ can establish his voice within the huddle and he can get through to these guys and LeBron can actually take constructive criticism from him, I think if you can get through to LeBron, get through to Anthony Davis, get through to this team and show that you are an actual leader and have moments where this team follows his guiding, that to me is going to show me success in the sense of I think it's really, really hard to be on a LeBron team and get through to LeBron and then get other people to listen when the class clown is off doing his own thing. So I think, success is not just the postseason for JJ Redick. I think success is showing that his voice is the dominant voice in the huddle and that his voice is going to be listened to. So I think we need to see who he is as a teacher, who he is as a mentor, and if he can step up to the challenge of being on a team where I don't think people expect him to be the head coach. And I think that if he can show that he is, I think that'll be a win for him.
Yeah, for sure. That's the challenge. That's the challenge for anyone coaching one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
I think JJ, I think he's got it in him. I really do. not many people called out Stephen A. Smith the way he did when he was, on air. So it should be interesting for sure, though.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I'm going to throw the question back to you. If you were coaching the Los Angeles Lakers, I know you like LeBron James, but if you were coaching the current roster that they had right now, what would you consider to be your biggest challenge in 2024-25 as the Lakers head coach?
Yeah, I would. The biggest challenge, I think, you just hit on a lot of it as a coach. It's, you know, obviously you want to be, respected by the whole group and the best players on the team. It starts there.
Yeah.
So I think immediately it's developing that trust, and that credibility and respect with the LeBron James, the Anthony Davis, and to a point where they respect you as the head coach. They're bought into your message, and you have that relationship with those guys where, okay, if they see things a different way, there's a process with how they approach you to get their message across, where again you have that relationship with those top players where you can communicate and at the same time go about it the right way, where the rest of the team understands it's not one person leading it, it's not another guy leading it, it's okay, the coach, the leaders, the top of the pyramid, they're on the same page and we're buying into that, and we're all going in the same direction. But I think it would just be developing those relationships with the leaders of the team and getting them to buy into the vision that I had for the team, for the upcoming season. And then I think if you're able to do that, everything else will align. Ultimately, hopefully, we will get to the postseason and be ready for that tough Western Conference.
Yeah, well, and I know that you said, just a quick follow-up, you said that you believe JJ has it in him. Why do you believe JJ Redick has it in him to coach this team with those personalities?
Well, I think he was in the NBA for 17 years. I think he had a 17-year playing career. I believe that's how long it was. And so I think from that standpoint, being a player, being a guy that came and had to kind of work for everything. Of course, he was a great college player, but he wasn't projected to be a great player in the NBA for that long, and he really had to work for it. The reason he didn't return for an 18th year was because he wasn't prepared to do another offseason, because his off seasons were hell, because he destroyed, it was just so physically and mentally challenging to prepare for the season. So he's a guy that came in, worked for everything, and had a long, successful career. So I think it would start there, where he's got that respect and credibility with NBA players, which is a different breed, because if someone that's not on that level is trying to coach them, like, they're not going to hear it. I'm a pro, I'm making millions. But JJ's been there, done that. So I think that's a huge ribbon in his hat. I think he's extremely intelligent and analytical, which, with the way the current NBA is played and evaluated, I think he's really knowledgeable in those areas and will have good schemes and strategies to kind of optimize like the current analytics of the NBA and how the game's played. And then, also obviously the podcast he did with LeBron, it seems like they have, a very great relationship where LeBron respects his opinion. They obviously, seem like they have a similar perspective. They came up during the same era of the NBA and have seen the game change.
Yeah.
And also, I just think he's not a person. He doesn't come across to me as a person that backs down and like tucks his tail between his legs. I think he's going to say how he feels and not back down to NBA players, but also do it in a way that can be respected, because again, he's been that player. So I think he's got a lot going for him. I think his biggest challenge is obviously he's in LA at this time period. And again, it's his first year as a head coach. So there's a lot of things he's going to learn as he goes. So.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. One of my favorite lines from LeBron James comes from the movie Trainwreck, where he is best friends with Bill Hader, and he sits next to a girl that Bill Hader really likes, and he said, "I got a question for you," and she goes, "Okay," and he looks right at her and he goes, "Don't hurt him." And he doesn't never ask a question, but it's one of those, and it's the way he looks, it's the way he does his face, but he's funny through the whole thing. And it just his relationship with Bill Hader in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie Trainwreck, it's worth checking out and seeing some LeBron James acting days. But with that being said, Clay Gagen-Sherman, BSC Syracuse, Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, 2 locations, James Street in Syracuse, and right off of Route 57 in Liverpool, New York, across from Avicoli's, the head coach of the men's basketball program, bringing us into the 2024-25 season. Plenty more coming up with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. And, of course, more coming up with Clay Gagen-Sherman, the coaches and the student athletes. So, as always, Clay, I appreciate you. Appreciate your professionalism, the way you break down the game. And it's always fun. And you always get me energized. I love basketball. But when you and I talk ball, I get I'm in it. I'm back in March Madness. My head's like, when can I come to practice? What's going on? So, and by the way, folks, in 3 different gyms in Central New York, in my home community, I have 3 witnesses in 3 separate gyms that I not only hit a half-court shot, but I hit my first half-court shot. Nolan Cass and Clay Gagen-Sherman witnessed when I did it right there in the on Hamilton Street.
I was there. He called the shot. It happened.
So I did.
But
I do have a witness for that. What were you going to say?
You made it look easy.
Well,
I think you practiced those shots, in your downtime when no one's around, and you got up there, you called your shot, you knocked it down. So it was impressive. But the feelings are always mutual, Dan. I appreciate you so much and everything you do for myself and the Bryant Stratton community and our student athletes. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate you. And as you know, it's always love to you and the family. So I look forward to talking with you soon. Give a shout out to those beautiful kids of yours, and obviously to your wife, your partner in crime, and to the whole family. And I look forward to talking with you and hopefully seeing you soon.
Appreciate you, Dan. Talk to you soon, man.
All right, man.
Take care.
That coming from Clay Gagen-Sherman one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Joining us in hour number 1 for an exclusive Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse spotlight. And of course, that comes in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. We'll take a step aside for a fast break inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. When we come back, Papa Joe, hour 2, baseball and horse racing right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryant's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There's a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop with hockey, baseball, basketball, football, soccer, AEW, UFC, All-Sport, as well as Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and Magic the Gathering. While supplies last, you'll find everything that you need. You also have all the supplies to protect your cards, all different size top loaders as well as sleeves, the binders for your cards, and you can also get one-touch cases and boxes to put your cards in. Every single thing. It is a one-stop shop to me. You can walk in there, say, I've never bought a pack of cards before, and they will have you all set and ready to go with your packs, your boxes, your singles, your graded cards. They're the only store that has every MLB, NFL, and NBA team. Folks, just go in there. See what it's like. Experience GG Cards and Breaks today. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. The incredible work and tireless work of Josh Anthony and their team is absolutely reputable, and I love it. I love going in there, and the little kid in me is very much alive at GG Cards and Breaks. So feed your kid spirit today, bring your kids with you, and go make some new memories at GG Cards and Breaks, a place that has everything that you could possibly need to start a collection or to continue one. So make sure you head out there today. 639 Delmar Place, Syracuse, New York, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. With that being said, PJ is here with us in hour number 2, and we are here to talk about baseball, a little bit of horse racing going on where sports meets life. Of course, we are proudly inside of the wonderful Heritage Hill Studios, Heritage Hill on 3149 Sweet Road at the Brew House out in Pompey, and on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, right there at Sweetheart Corner at their newest location at Heritage Hill North, which you definitely have to come out and experience that right by CNS, and we appreciate everything we get to do with the North Stars there. With that being said, Papa Joe here on the show. PJ, how we doing today?
What's up, Daniel? Everything's fine.
Well, I'm going to... What'd you say?
Hotter than hell down here.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's definitely gotten a little bit cooler up here, thank goodness. We had 2 tornado warnings in the past week or so, which is atypical of central New York, and our prayers continue to go out to the beautiful, wonderful people of Rome, New York, and the surrounding communities and their loved ones, that they will be okay and stay okay, that life, more than anything else, is not lost, and that anything that is material-wise that has been damaged or lost, that we can repair that and get our community here in central and upstate New York back running. Same to Texas and same to Florida and anybody anywhere. So with that being said, PJ, going right into baseball season, we're coming off of the draft and the All-Star game. And the two-part question here, any notes for the draft or the All-Star game from you? And then as we head into the second half of the season, officially now, post-All-Star break, what are your thoughts on where teams stand here in the back nine of the season, so to speak? So first part, draft and All-Star game, any takeaways from that? And then bring us into what the league looks like going into part 2 of 2024.
Okay. Well, the draft was fun to watch for a while. I sort of had the guys that went in grouped together. 1 through 10, they all could have gone any number which way. The one that surprised me, of course, was my Gator guy, which is Jack Caglione, who led the country in home runs for the last 2 years, actually. And he pitches. Last year, he was for the Gators. He was 6-2, 4.5 ERA, which isn't very good. But he also hit 1 million. He hit 471 or some ridiculous number like that. And I thought that he would go higher in the draft, but I guess the other teams decided to lay off, and maybe they could pick him up later. But he got scooped up by Kansas City. He's going to join Bobby Witt over there, and this kid's a monster. I'm telling you. I saw him a couple of years playing ball for Florida, and he's just a all-around good, fundamentally sound baseball player. And he's huge. He's 6'5", 240. He swings from the left side. So I envision 500-yard home runs maybe from him in a couple of years in the majors. And the All-Star game, I do have some things on the All-Star game I thought was pretty neat. I wanted to watch the beginning of the game at least because I wanted to watch Paul Skynes at Pittsburgh pitch. I followed him in college when he was at LSU, and he was a bear to hit then. And he came right up through the minors in such short order that Pittsburgh says, "Well, we got to have you now, so let's go."
Yeah.
So he easily set down the American League in the first inning there, getting Aaron Judge to ground out weak third base and force a second for Soto. So he was overpowering just for the first inning because these managers, they want to give everyone a chance to play. So I don't know if they had 12 or 13 pitchers. I don't know how you do that, but I think everyone got to play. And of course, I wanted to watch Ohtani hit, and he didn't disappoint by going yard for a 3-run homer. And then I just turned it off. Jaron Duran, who hit the 2-run homer to win for Boston, I thought, and the American League, I thought he's a sensational young player. Mason Miller, where he came from, I don't know, but he was showing 103 miles an hour. 4 pitches went over 102 miles an hour. They mic'd up Trey Turner while he was in playing shortstop, and while he was talking, a ball was hit to his left. He dove to his left with a mic on, trapped the ball, flipped it to second base for a force out, and was nonchalant about it, just talked his way through it. I think that's kind of through. Emmanuel Clace, who I've been saying is a really good closer over the years, he closed with 100 mile an hour, 13 pitches were over 100 miles an hour. And these guys, these young kids that are throwing so hard, so early, I worry about their arms. I just can't see them doing that. I mean, you gotta have pitchers. Now, Skynes is different. He throws hard, but he's also got 5 pitches he can throw for strikes. That's the difference. Now, Emmanuel Clace is just a closer, so maybe he doesn't need 5 pitches. He needs 2 at least, or 3. I saw Kansas City play 4 players. Sal Perez is a catcher. Korag is a pitcher. Lugo's a pitcher who's been leading the league in ERA and wins so far. And Bobby Witt, of course, is their fundamental best player. And watching the home run derby, I wasn't too interested in that. I thought maybe Pete Alonso would have done better, but he didn't. Surprised that Gunnar Henderson didn't do better. The home run derby is not something fundamentally for players to do because you're not supposed to swing that way. You're supposed to swing chopping down the tree. That's what every coach teaches their young kids. You're chopping down the tree. You're not uplifting the ball. And I've seen a lot of players go into this home run derby and just come out of it, and then you wind up in a slump because they lose their swing. Then they got back in the batting cages for hours on end until they can get their groove back. So home run derby is fun for the fans. It's fun for the players, I guess. But when push comes to shove, I'd rather not be in it. So that's it.
Yeah, I know.
I got go over my stats, and we had a lot of activity in the. I say less activity in the trade deadline.
Yeah.
There's guys who've got to make some moves here pretty soon because the half is over with. I got stats in front of me. I know who's going forward. I know who's going backwards. I know who's hitting. I know who's pitching. So whatever.
Yeah. So tell us who's going as we step into the second half. We're officially in the second half post All-Star week. We are in the second half of the 2024 Major League Baseball season. Who's hot? Who's not? Bring us into that, PJ, for Major League Baseball going into part 2, a.k.a. the back 9 of the 2024 Major League Baseball season. What teams are hot and what teams are cold as we go into the second half?
Well, I'm going to say 2 teams. Well, 3 teams, actually. Baltimore especially. They laid it on the Yankees when they played them 2 out of 3. They're up a game over the Yankees. And I like Philly in the East. And for the National League, the team that's making the biggest move, and I said this 2 months ago, is Houston. I knew they weren't going to stick down there in the cellar very long because they have too good of a team. If their pitching comes around, which it has, they were 6-4 in the last 10 games. They're only 1 game behind Seattle. They're going to blow right by Seattle. So Houston's going to be a problem again for the rest of the teams. Philly looks like they're the class of the league in the National League. They got 3 superstar pitchers that are leading their team. Your Arizona's hanging in there. There's a lot of things to talk about, but I can go through my numbers first.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we got Baltimore leading the AL East at 58-38. I mentioned that New York's 1 game behind. Boston's 4.5 games behind. However, Boston's last 10 games, they were 7-3. They're playing a lot better. I don't know if they can catch these 2 tough teams, but they're right there with them. Essentially, we got Cleveland at 58-37. Minnesota's 4.5 back. Kansas City is 7 back, which is a big disappointment to me right now. I thought that Kansas City, frankly, I know they're a better team than that. And they have to play better, have to pitch better. In the West, we got Seattle at 52-46. Houston's 1 game back, and Texas is still hanging in there, only 5 game backs, and they were 7-3 in their last 10 games. Batting-wise average, Steve Kwan from Cleveland, 352. I got to see this kid play once last week and once in the All-Star game. I didn't know much about him. He's a pure hitter. I'm glad he's leading the league. Bobby Witt in Kansas City's hitting 323. Aaron Judge is hitting 306. Home runs, Judge is hitting 34. RBIs, Judge has 85. So the Triple Crown is still in play in the American League with Aaron Judge leading the way. If we know Kwan is going to back down into the 320s or something like that. Judge needs to hit a little bit better average-wise, and he can secure Triple Crown, which is very difficult to do. In wins, we got Seth Lugo. Kansas City's got 11. His ERA is 2.48, but remember 3 weeks ago, he was down in the 1s. He's been tattooed his last couple of starts out. So this is a good time to rest him. Saves Emmanuel Clace, who I've mentioned from Cleveland's got 29. Go to the National League. We got Philly is 62-34. Atlanta's 8.5 games behind. How did that happen? New York Mets is 12.5 behind. Central Division, Milwaukee's 55-42. St. Louis is 4.5 behind. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Chicago have still got a chance to creep up there. Milwaukee is a surprise to me. Why? Because I love their manager, Clay Counselor, and he winds up going to the Cubs. The Cubs are in last place right now, so go figure. Milwaukee's playing really good ball. In the West, we got LA at 56-41. Zona's in second place, 7 games behind, and so is San Diego, 7 games behind. LA was only 3-7 in their last 10 games, and Zona was 6-4, so they creeped up a little bit. Christian Yelich from Milwaukee is hitting 326. Ohtani's hitting 316. Home runs, Ohtani's got 29. Marcell Ozuna, Atlanta's got 26. RBIs, Ozuna's got 77. Ohtani's got 69. The Triple Crown is still in play for Ohtani here, too. His average is probably still going to be up there needs to hit a few more home runs and hit some more RBIs. He'll be right up in there. And wins Chris Sale from Atlanta. They got 13. And he is nasty as left-handed you're ever going to find. ERA, Ray Lopez has got 1.88. Saves. Ryan Hesley from St. Louis has 32. They go into the second half of the year. I think what teams are going to be looking for in the trade deadline is pitching. You always got to have pitching. I always preach that when you play baseball, you got to have pitching and defense, and you've got to have it. Let me give an example here. What I'm saying. We talk about Arizona a lot, and Arizona's ERA is 4.56.
Yeah.
They are second from the last in the league. Now, they're hitting all right. Marty's hitting 292. Christian Walker's got 22 homers, 66 RBIs. Although Corbin Carroll is only hitting 212. It's a little bit above the Mendoza line. But Flat is 397. Zach Gallen is 387. And Jordan Montgomery, who I thought was really going to help Arizona, his ERA is 6.44. Now, Arizona will not win with an ERA of 4.56. So, what does Arizona do? If they got some projects they want to get rid of in the minor league, they need another starter because what they're doing ain't working. So that's what I suggest for them. They're not out of it by a long shot, but LA has got the pitching, and they don't. So that's a big deal right there. I think that Baltimore can probably sit pretty. They got 5 of the best young players in the league right now, and they all bat 1 through 5. They're super. Cleveland is still hanging in there. I don't let Cleveland do much more. Kansas City, I thought, would do better. I hope they do better, but Minnesota's still hanging in there. They were 6-4 in their last 10 games. Seattle is still hanging in there, and Houston's making a big move. Houston has the impetus to go forward. They still got solid pitching. They got super hitting with Altuve, Garcia, and Bregman. Those guys have been with the team for years. Kyle Tucker's still there with them. These guys can hit, and they can score. Well, in the National League, you got Philly. You got those three pitchers, Ranger Suarez, Aaron Nola, and Zach Wheeler. If you can't get through those three guys, you're not going to be able to catch Philly. They're tough. They're really tough. The Mets I put in there because they're playing good. They're going anywhere. Do they have some guys for sale? Probably so. Milwaukee's probably going to need some help too, pitching wise. St. Louis is only 4.5 behind. They're set pretty good. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Chicago have got to make a decision. Whether they're going to bring up their minor league players, whether they're going to trade for power or trade for pitching, they got to make up their mind because things are moving too quick for them. Right now, they're almost out of their division, but they're still hanging in there. In the West, LA is ruling the roost. They got a 3.76 ERA, which is very good, and they're hitting 254 as a team. Now Arizona's got a 4.56 ERA. They're hitting 254 as a team. So where does it tell you Arizona's got to get up? They got to get some pitching. San Diego's seven games behind. They're hitting 261 as a team. If their pitching comes around, they'll be okay. There are some trade rumors out there.
Yeah.
Let me turn my page. The one guy that I've mentioned for the last month is Garrett Crochet. He's a pitcher for the White Sox. He's nasty. And he's been good for a couple of years. This year he's doing really good. So therefore, what does Chicago do? They're in the bottom of the bottom. They're not going anywhere. So what they can do is try to get rid of him. Tommy Pham is a hitter of his. Tommy Pham is a sort of like a hired gun. Tommy Pham has been traded several times over the years. He's a good hitter. He's not consistent, but he can hit home runs, and he's a dynamite kind of guy. He likes to keep guys up. But Crochet is the stud here. He's the one that's probably going to be nabbed from Chicago. Now Chicago's got a whole firm here now.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid's good. So someone sends Baltimore sends 3 of their minor leaguers for Crochet. Well, that's something. That's all right, as long as the minor leaguers are good. You got Taylor Ward from the L.A. Angels is having a good year. He's had 3 good years in a row. The Angels are not going anywhere. Where are they going? They're not going anywhere. Tyler Anderson is their best pitcher. He's got 8 wins and a 2.97 ERA. Tyler Anderson will be traded. You heard it here. Will be traded. There's no doubt about it. Los Angeles Angels have got to start again. They had it made with Trout and Ohtani, and they blew it. And now they're in the bottom of the barrel. They got 2 good players that they can get really good projects for. Another good player, Jonathan India, go Gators, plays for Cincinnati, plays shortstop. He's another giant player that he's a big kid, plays a good long shortstop, good arm, good hitter. I don't look for him to be in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's another one. Got to make up their mind. Hunter Green is a pitcher for Cincinnati. Both of these guys, I think, are on the trading block. If Cincinnati is going to mail the year in, then they're going to have to get some prospects for Hunter Green and Jonathan India. That's it in a nutshell, bud.
Yeah, a lot of news, and I appreciate it all, and the breakdown that PJ gives us to bring us up to speed with Major League Baseball every single week. And, it's going to be interesting to see. The trade deadline for Major League Baseball is July 30th. We are here today on July 18th, so we are less than 2 weeks away from those decisions coming in, and you can be sure that we're going to be following that closely. PJ will be following that. We're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we're going to get to our polls. As you know, on X, the former Twitter, at CallDT. That's who to follow, CallDT for the show, CALLDT. Go to X, a.k.a. the former Twitter, follow at CallDT, and vote in our polls. We put polls up all the time. A lot of those polls center around conversations with Papa Joe, and we got a bunch of them back, and we're going to hear what PJ has to say about these polls. When we come back, we'll also get into Saratoga Horse Racing, as we'll have PJ here with us for a few more minutes right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life from inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
Daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicolis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
And welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Papa Joe hanging out with us. It is a Thursday, so it's PJ time, and Papa Joe and I have a conversation to have. Our polls came in. We put up polls on X, the former Twitter, every single really, we try to do it every single week here at CallDT. That's CALLDT, so make sure you vote in them. And these are the polls that came back. Want to get PJ's thoughts quick. And, of course, you can reply in our feeds what your thoughts are on these polls. Put up these, PJ. Who will win the AL East? The voting ended 60% Yankees, 40% Orioles is what you chose. And then who will end up winning the... Let's see what we have here. Who will end up winning the American League West? They agreed with you, Papa Joe. Choices were Mariners, Astros, and Rangers. 0% said Rangers. 0% for the reigning World Series champions. 47.1% said Mariners. 52.9% picked the Astros to win the AL West. And the final one here, who will win the NL East between the Phillies and the Braves? This one's a lot closer than people probably think. 54.5% of you chose the Phillies, 45.5% chose the Braves. Thoughts on that, PJ? The polls came out that they have picked the Astros, the Phillies, and the Orioles to win their respective divisions.
Well, I like Atlanta. Just is not going to cut it. I mean, I thought beginning of the year they had enough pitching to carry them through. They still may have some good pitching, but other than Ozuna, they're really not hitting that much. And Philly has Harper and his boys over there, and they get the three-headed monsters that I talk about all the time, Ranger, Wheeler, and Nola. And those guys are going to win 15 games apiece. So I don't look for Philly to back up at all. Houston, I figured all along, I knew they were good. They just got to gel. They're going to get some of their pitchers coming off the IL and start pitching for them too. So, what's the other one we had?
Yeah, so the Orioles and the Yankees, people choosing the Yankees to win that one. And
I gotta.
Go ahead.
I just gotta go with the youth movement that Baltimore's doing over there, and I think this is something that the Yankees hierarchy should look at. How a young major league team should look like and what their farm systems look at, instead of pissing away millions of dollars on these old retreads that aren't doing anything. Stanton, DeLemayhew, a lot of these guys. And I like DeLemayhew. I thought he was the best player the Yankees had last year, 2 years ago. But they've outlived their use because they can't play anymore. Stanton can't play anyway. He's a liability in the outfield. All he does is hit. If you look at Baltimore's, that's the way a team is supposed to be built. And I don't think they're going to back up.
Yeah, so we shall see on that. PJ, we got another minute here. Saratoga Horse Racing. Bring us into what's going on at Saratoga right here in upstate New York.
Oh, boy. Well, the stakes races Saturday will be good to watch. If you can get everything I'm talking about on Fox Sport Night on your TV, or you can go into NYRA and hook up to their feed. Just sign up with them, and it's a free deal. The Saratoga to Lake George is a $175,000 race, mile on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. Then the Coaching Club of America is a $500,000 race. Fillies and Mares, mile and an eighth on dirt. But the big races this weekend are going to be at Monmouth Park in New Jersey, right down the road from them. Monmouth is also now partnered with NYRA, so you can get all the information from Monmouth and Bet at the same time. They got some fabulous races here, led by the Haskell, which is $1 million race, a mile and an eighth on dirt for 3-year-olds, period. There's some other stakes races here, but too many to mention. But if you get a chance to go down the thruway and zip up to Saratoga, you got to try to do that.
Yeah, coming here from Papa Joe. PJ, as always, we appreciate the time. We look forward to talking with you soon as we get closer to the Major League Baseball trade deadline. And as always, love to you and my fellow meatball Joey, Miss MT, and, of course, the cats, Boom Boom and Marissa. And I look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, thanks.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Want to thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Call today with Clay Gagen-Sherman and Papa Joe. Of course, PJ is with us every Thursday. He will be off next Thursday, though, as we have a preparing you for the American Athletic and the ACC football seasons. Those previews are going to be coming up, one-on-ones with head coaches that you won't find quite like this anywhere else, and that's all going to be airing on Wake Up Call next week, and then PJ will be back. YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you can find us on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. You can also ask Alexa and your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. Big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York. Heritage Hill Brewhouse and Heritage Hill North, our exclusive studio partner, as well as Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, Mother's Cupboard, GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, and Servomation Refreshments, which is revitalizing and reimagining what it's like to walk into your break room and get vending that is coming from a fantastic kitchen and awesome creations. I got to tour the facility out in Canastota, and it is truly amazing what Servomation is doing technologically, as well as the food options that you have. Lemoyne, Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse at Binghamton University, proud exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find them all on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course you could find our playlist for Lemoyne, Bryant Stratton, Syracuse, as well as Binghamton University on our YouTube channel. You can also find them all on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, Syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and BUBearcats.com. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. As always, thanks to Clay Gagen-Sherman, Papa Joe, to all of you.